You guys, 2025 is basically already in full swing, and in today's video, I wanted to do a full face of 2025 beauty trends. If you haven't already seen my beauty trends prediction video for this year, definitely make sure to check out that video because I go into depth. And a lot of those trends we're talking about in that video, we are now putting on my face in this video. And let us begin. So first of all, a trend that we are already seeing really take off this year and was kind of starting to pick up and gain traction last year was milky toners as skin prep. So this kind of meshing of skin prep, skincare, and your skincare working beautifully as a prep product for makeup. So I'm going ahead and using the Prequel Half and Half fluid moisturizer to prep my skin for makeup today. I absolutely love this. Prequel really comes out with a lot of great formulas. The more I try, the more I love. This has a beautiful milky texture, but again, it's still relatively lightweight. It doesn't quite feel like an oily milky toner, but it also doesn't feel just like glycerin and water. There's actually peptides and ceramides in here as well. So yeah, I like to go in with a couple of layers of this. If I'm going out for the night, I won't put sunscreen on top of this. I'll just use this as my skin prep. I already did my skincare routine this morning. I haven't done my makeup, but I still have a lot of things to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my sunscreen now. And if you know, you know. One of the best sunscreens ever from Isntree. For me, Asian sunscreens aren't even a trend, they are literally a way of life. So let's hope that the new regulations and the tariffs don't make these absolutely impossible to get. I have already been talking about that with you guys, but I have absolutely been stocking up because I cannot be without these, especially going into summer. So our skin is prepped, and this is literally two-step prep, and my makeup is going to go so beautifully on top. But let's talk about the skin and the trends that we're starting to see with skin. One that I think we're starting to see more people talk about, especially over on TikTok, are cushion foundations. Now, I try out quite a lot of Asian beauty on my channel. I've been trying out cushion foundations literally since the beginning, but I have to tell you, there are quite a few that I really don't like. A lot of brands give the cushion foundations kind of a weird dry down. This one from Tier, the Mask Fit Aura Cushion, is beautiful. I really love this one. You can absolutely use the sponge that it comes with, but I'm just gonna be honest, I love just using a brush. And this is the Hourglass. It's like their angled foundation brush. This applies, especially these kind of thin formulas, really beautifully. And I love this formula because it's still very thin, which is a quality I really like in cushion foundations. It's not drying, it's not heavy. This does have a very light coverage to it, but you can build it up, and that is a good thing about cushion foundations is because they are so thin, they're very layerable oftentimes. I'm curious to see which Western brands are going to start branching out into cushion foundations, if that's going to take a little bit of time. But I think now that TikTok is starting to get into cushion foundations, that might start to kind of speed up the process a little bit. I feel like we're still going to continue to see these kind of cushion applicators. This has been a trend for quite a while, but I don't think it's going anywhere. This is the new IT Cosmetics Radiant Concealer, and I really like this one. Oh gosh, now I just put way too much out. Really enjoy it. It is quite light on the skin, but gives really nice coverage. And you guys know how I feel about a radiant concealer. So just going ahead and blending that in. Again, really just very thin on the actual skin. And usually for concealer, I like a little bit more richness because I find that that is going to give me the moisture that I need. And yet, somehow this doesn't dry out my under eyes. And yet it's just, again, so thin under the eyes. Really into that concealer from IT Cosmetics. And if you are a longtime viewer of my channel, you know how I am with concealer. Like, it's kind of a joke at this point. Like, take a shot every time you hear Amanda complain about concealers, be picky about concealers, you would not have a good time. I also think that we are starting to see folks really getting back into color correction. This is one of my favorites. This is the Salt New York Best Case Concealer, and this is the Peach Light. So what I'll do with something like this is I'm gonna take it only really in the area where I have most discoloration. You see how it's kind of subtle, but it really just counteracts that color. I feel like once folks start using a really skin-loving color corrector, it kind of becomes a game changer. Now you can put this under your concealer, and typically, honestly, that's what I would do, but I forgot to put it on before I put on the IT Cosmetics concealer, but it is safe to say that this has become one of my absolute favorite color correctors. It's just really hydrating under the eyes. There are so many color correctors that are so freaking drying, and the under eyes are very delicate. You really need like a skin loving kind of formula for under the eyes. I think we're going to continue to see brands coming out with these color correcting shades within their concealer lines. Another brand that's done that this year is Kosas. They now have the Revealer Extra Bright, and this is their Revealer concealer formula, but they now have it in a corrector version. So color correction within concealer lines. That's something I didn't necessarily talk about in my first video. I more so talked about it with powder. I definitely think we're starting to see it within concealer formulas. But like I mentioned before, color correcting and brightening powders, this powder is a perfect encapsulation of this trend. Givenchy has recently come out with their Prism Libre 4-color pressed powder. Now, Givenchy is kind of the queen of color corrective powders. We all know that they reformulated their Prism Libre powder and ruined it. Like, there's a bunch of sparkle in it. But folks are saying that this one is better. So we're gonna try it together today. So I'm just taking a little bit on this little paw paw brush, and I'm going to just set the under eye a little bit and the chin. Kind of just taking this down like the center of the face as a brightening step. And I think that looks really nice. It is absolutely matte. There is not a stitch of glitter in here. Not a grain. So that's what it looks like without the powder under the eye, and this is what it looks like with. I might be sold on that, guys. I'm just gonna take some excess on the lid. Yeah, I think we might have a winner on our hands here. It is super, super lovely. But let's go ahead and talk about powder blush. So I mentioned in my trends prediction video for this year that powder blush is going to be a big thing. Definitely have already started to see that. Saie just released their powder blushes, Tower 28. Very recently, Westman Atelier actually has come out with the powder version of their very, very iconic cream sticks. So this is the shade Petal, and then this is the biscuit shade of their contour stick. For me personally, I'm very, very excited to see how this performs. I have used it once and was kind of on the fence about the actual texture and formula, so we're gonna go ahead and try it out together today. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like we have been ruled by cream products for, I don't know, the past 3 years maybe. I am finding it really refreshing to see brands come out with powder formulas. I am kind of just like pressing that in. It's giving a really nice shape. So I think it's really cool to see, especially like these no makeup brands coming out with these powder formulas and seeing how they're applying their ethos to these formulas. Because powder can look incredibly skin-like when you have a good formula. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this looks right now. It is so expensive though, which makes me hesitant to like, I can't try it out just a couple of times and recommend something, especially this expensive, but we're just gonna have to keep trying it out and seeing. But I'm gonna go ahead and with the blush now. And that is a really, really pretty color. And this formula is definitely more on the matte side. And it has this really nice kind of beautifying, blurring kind of finish, which is something that I also talked about within my trend predictions video, is that we're going to start to see these powder formulas in these more almost finishing powder kind of textures. So think something blurring, something with almost like a highlighted effect, but not necessarily sparkly, but more in a light diffusing kind of way. So that's the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks. Let's go ahead and talk about the eyes. So I had mentioned previously to you all that I saw single matte shadows kind of making a resurgence, or, one and done eyeshadows being a thing again. I personally think that's because there's just a little bit of palette fatigue. We want something really simple. I think that a matte eye look is so timeless and classic, a la like Merit Solo Shadows. So this is the shade Vachetta, and you can literally just take a matte shadow like this, and it's a cream formula that goes matte, which I think is really, really lovely because it's just going to last on the eyes, but it's not going to look really drying. So just taking this all over the eye, really kind of like willy-nilly, and it just gives you this really cool definition, effortless nature to it. It's really, really user-friendly. And you don't have to worry about like 15 transition colors. As someone that has kind of made like one and done eyeshadows, like a bread and butter on her channel, like I'm really excited to see this become a trend. And I just love this color. If you have lighter skin with a warm undertone, this is such a great one and done. However, we also have talked about the wet, sparkly top coats. This is not a new trend, but I think we're starting to see it continue on, and I could not be happier about that as well. But I think a lot of folks want something a little bit more sheer in the base pigment. It's not necessarily a heavy base pigment, wet-looking eyeshadow. So Nabla just came out with this Liberty palette, and this one shade in here, for me, really encapsulates this. So you can see it's a little peachy, but there isn't actually a ton of base pigment. It's just a soft kind of peachy base pigment. So I'm going to show you guys this because I love it. I think you guys would really love this one too. So there it is. Isn't that, oh my god, delightful. I just cannot get over shades like this. And you can kind of just like work it into the solo shadow, because the solo shadow basically acts as like an eye base, and it just like immediately picks up and sticks onto that. So basically what I wanted to show you guys was like the everyday trend that I see happening, which is just like, a matte shadow onto the eyes. And then if you want something a little bit more, I'm seeing folks just reach for like a wet sparkly top coat to add on top. And I gotta tell you, I absolutely love that. I mean, we all know how I feel about wet eyeshadows. And by the way, I am working on a new like favorite wet looking eyeshadow video for you guys, so make sure you're subscribed. Now, another trend that we kind of talked about was brown mascara. However, I've actually started to see no mascara kind of trending. So brown mascara or very light mascara. But what I wanted to do today is actually show you all how to get like a no mascara look. I also need to remember to do my eyebrows because I keep forgetting. So you're gonna take your eyelash curler and curl your lashes. This one is from Shiseido. It is absolutely wonderful. You're just gonna curl your lashes. You're not gonna apply your mascara and then curl your lashes, because I've been seeing recently so many people do that. It's so bad for your eyelashes. Go ahead and take a piece of paper towel, toilet paper, tissue, whatever. You are going to remove almost all of the mascara that is on your wand. And I think that this is really what gets you the most natural look. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna look down into a mirror, and you're gonna take your brush and kind of blink into it at the base of your lashes. This is going to kind of define the base of your lashes to give you that kind of defined look close to the lash line while leaving a lot of the actual lash pretty bare. You could also absolutely use like a clear mascara, but I kind of like this even more because I'm getting the definition at the base of the lash, but I'm keeping the part of the lash that is going to show the mascara the most, the ends of the mascara, I'm keeping that bare. So basically, you see how it literally does not look like I'm wearing mascara right now? And yet my eyes look more just like softly defined. That is the kind of look we're going for. So I went ahead and did my eyebrows. By the way, I feel like Rare Beauty is so underrated as far as their brow products. So the Harmony Brow Pencil and then the Clear Brow Gel, which is amazing, and I love it. But now I think we can kind of fully see this kind of eye is what I see starting to really pick up and trend. And I gotta tell you, I kind of love that very, very low-key mascara look. And the Tower 28 mascara, the Make Waves, I mean, you guys have probably heard me talk about this many times on my channel. And by the way, this is the brown one. This is very buildable, so it's really good for this technique. It's not going to dispense a ton of product all at once. So if you really want that very soft mascara, soft lash look, this is a really good one for that. Now, as far as lips go, I had previously obviously talked about how these like blurry lips are definitely going to trend this year. I also predicted that like lip stains were going to continue to trend. I think both of these, we are already definitely seeing both of these. So I wanted to walk you guys through a couple of different products to kind of achieve this look. So I had previously mentioned the Fui Pudding Pots. Those are definitely like a blurry, soft K-Beauty lip that I absolutely love and recommend. Another one I previously mentioned was the Violette FR Bisou Balm. This is just that really soft, blurry lip line, kind of like just bitten, just kissed kind of lip, which we are again really seeing trend this year. But I wanted to mention this Phytosurgeons lip balm. This is the shade Brave Break, and you can see it has this more kind of matte finish to it, like a brown black cherry. And this is really lovely. It's sheer. It has a nice moisture to it. It is really nice. It's matte, but it's not necessarily blurring matte, but it's not like really blurry. You know, if you want like a ton of blur, maybe the Bisou Balm is probably a better way to go, but personally for me, I'm really liking this one from Phytosurgeons. Another example would be the Refi lip blushes. They also have their lip liners, their blurry lip liners, which I have kind of talked about. Like K-Beauty blurry lip lines are definitely going to start trending. I actually did an entire video about the Rhode lip contours and how that was essentially like this K-Beauty trend, but there was a little bit of a disconnect when they actually launched to market because everyone's like, why are they not lasting? So definitely feel free to check out that video. Not a lot of people saw that video, but I think it was a really interesting conversation about talking about why I think certain Asian beauty trends do really well while others kind of are lost in translation. I think that the Rhode is a good example of that. But anyway, so this is the lip blush in Canyon. I've loved this one for a long time. You see how like comparatively to like the Phytosurgeons, this is more pigment, more of that like true like blurry lip. Massage it in with a finger a little bit. And this is really fun to do. When you do that, you just kind of take the excess and then put it onto the cheeks. But yeah, so I've been a fan of this one for quite a while. Another one that is recently launched is the Versed Smoothing Lip Blush. And this one is more affordable. This is the shade Reserve. It has even less pigment than the one from Refi, which I think some of you will really like. I feel like I might have a little bit of Canyon from Refi still on my lips, but... So I'm just going to take Reserve from Merit to show you all. Really lovely. As far as like a really blurry lip that's nice for on the go, I think that Verse did a really excellent job with this formula. I feel like this is the more flattering version of the Glossier Generation Gs. Like, if we're talking about pigment here, so like something like the Phytosurgence is going to have the most glow, even though it is matte. This is more sheer than the Versed, but you can see it has a little bit more shine. But that also means it has more moisture. I think that there really is a place for this, and I think it's a really unique product. Then probably with more pigment than that is the Cashmere Color Lip Blush, again from Versed. Then probably the Violette Bisou Balm, and then with the most pigment is probably the Refi. So I guess I should probably try on the Bisou Balm now for you guys. I kind of concealed a little bit around the lips just because I feel like my lip lines are kind of crazy right now. This is the shade Rose Latte. As far as pigment, this might have just as much pigment as the lip blurs actually. Or I'm sorry, the lip blushes from Refi. A nice vibrant color. This one smells delicious. It really smells like a vanilla cupcake. But I will say that as far as the way it wears, you know, when you have like a blurrier lip, it really needs to sit close to the lips, or else you're gonna kind of get that like ring around the lips, like the butthole lip is what I call it. This will give it to you a little bit if you're not careful, if you're really, really applying quite a lot. That's why I think for like every day, maybe the Verse might be a better way to go, but if you really want that super blurry lip, I think that the Violette is very pretty. But that one does not go with my look today, so I think let's go ahead in with Reserve. You know, even putting this one on when I had the Violette on right before, I feel like this is more comfortable. Just feels more like a lip balm than like a true matte lipstick. Again, I think we've already started to see a lot of lip stains trend, but if I'm being honest, I think my lips need a break. So I don't know if I'm gonna get into a bunch of lip stains right now. All right, everyone, so that was an entire full face of 2025 beauty trends that I think we've already really started to see these trends take off this year. Let me know though down below what ones you're really excited about and the ones that you're not excited about. What trends do you hope leave first, and the ones you really hope stay around for longer. Make sure you're subscribed for some of my upcoming eyeshadow videos as well. But overall, just thank you for being here, and I will see you in my next one.